we go. On deck, starting the slam off tonight, I'll always tell you who's on deck, is Mist. And we're going to welcome our sacrificial poet to the stage. First slam poet on this stage, 2013. Please welcome McKenna Barber to the stage. Woo!
Bring me a dream. I want to dream of a starburst, sun-drop fire spark dancing on the cold, lonely lips of a statuesque soul, one mortally untouched and only gazed upon by passing admirers. A continuous cycle that collects moss on the stone and rests on the blank metal plaque beneath, which sits waiting to be inscribed upon. I want to dream of new and unexplored intertwined limbs that blend together, forming one lump sum of flesh and blood and bone and healed wounds. Lips on lips, lips on skin, skin on skin. I want fingers to drip into spines of tightly wound memories and intimate secret worlds. I want eyes to close and rest in peace until the morning arrives with rays full of good vibes and bright futures, spent in the sheets of this love boat, rocking on tidal wave of affection, uninterrupted. Give me dreams of dreams come true, Mr. Sandman. Give me a view of the sky bright blue, along with the song of the melodic songbird's tune written out on the inside of my skull, so I never forget to sing, even when there are no words to be sung. Remind me from inside my eyelids to dance on the toes of these awake and cold feet until I find myself dizzy with amusing adventure, until I realize each risk worthy of being taken and take each risk without wondering its worth. In my dreams, give me lion-like courage to wander from the light and tiptoe on the edge of the unknown, teetering on the brink of danger. Guide me to a yet-to-be-found or perhaps a long-lost feeling of adequate satisfaction. Soothe my craving for a newfound desire and appease my lust for bravery that creates stories to tell my children and my children's children to inspire them to do the same. Thrust me into a world much like this one, where time does not exist and therefore forces no end to the moments we wish would last a lifetime. But please, Mr. Sandman, don't let him in my dreams. I'd rather have morbid nightmares full of quick, slimy monsters with sharp-toothed grins that lust after human blood. Give me the death of my dreams before you give me him. Give me guard dogs who crave flesh and thunderstorms of acid rain, whose lightning bolts set my world ablaze, destroying all that I love. Give me a hurricane of hate and disgust and shame and loss. Give me heartbroken goodbyes and unfair punishments. Give me lonely barefoot walks down roads made of glass shards to my own grave. Give me thorn-filled crowns and crosses to bear. Drown me, shoot me, blind me, break me. Give me broken-hearted flashbacks to dark shadow days, and remind me of the time I wish my heart would stop trying to beat before you remind me of him. Because all these terrible things are more bearable than being without him here. So, dear Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Just please, Mr. Sandman, whatever you do, don't let him in. Sincerely, Sleepless.
Thank you, McKenna. See-through skull shirt. No, but judges don't give her points for the shirt. Just the poem.
Unless you're judging on shirts all night.
Unless you're judging on shirts all night. Thank you, sir. I recommend that you don't do that, but keep it consistent. Yes. Alrighty, so those of you who have the scorecards, at this point you should have flipped them to the appropriate quantity of goodness that you would like to throw at this person's heartfelt material. Ooh. Let's be real about it. This is a fucked up thing we're doing here. It's great. This is what we're here to do. Numbers on souls, people. It's all in good fun. Yes. We love everybody. Okay. When you are, no, not when you're ready, when I tell you on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, up and at me, please. Thank you. Where's my 5th judge?
In the back.
Jorah.
Oh, shoot. Thank you. Okay. I've got a 5.6. I've got a 6.7. And a 6.7. And a 7.2. And a 7.8 for McKenna. Let her hear it. What did you think of the poetry? 20.6. We have a saying in slam, the point is not the points, the point is the poetry. So sometimes I have to make that point. That while it's wonderful to come here and polish our work, it's always important to remember that all we're here to do is to eat and shit and piss poetry. Right? It's so beautiful and so relieving. It's a feast and an exorcism all in one. And I'm so glad we're all here to do that together. But we're Americans, so the spectatory nature of this thing is enhanced by this Olympic-style judging in a way that we just can't get away from, so we have to celebrate it. It's glorious and ridiculous. I'm so glad. Okay, let's start the slam. On deck is Phillip. Oh, I will say this, Praj, our amazing scorekeeper, pointed this out. I may not have made this totally clear. Poets, when you come up and begin speaking, your time will start. But please, before beginning, take some time to adjust the microphone to your appropriate height. If you're confused, give me a look, like, you know, the look, like, ah, and I'll come and help you adjust it. We just want to make sure that you actually get to be heard. So your time won't start until you actually begin speaking. Take your moment. All right, on deck is Phillip. Please welcome Miss to the stage.
This doesn't have a title. I call myself a Judeo-Christian Muslim while praying to Hindu deities, sitting cross-legged, while I smoke Peruvian tobacco watching the great goddess ayahuasca journey through the tree that is me, invoking the elements, calling the pearl an iron pentacle, singing of light and love, asking the record keepers for guidance, beginning to know freedom and responsibility. Grateful for the ancestors of my blood for this life. Grateful for those of my path who have cleared the way to make things so easy for me to just show up. And yet, sometimes I hide. In loving rebellion with a grammarian who dislikes this run-on sentence. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Into the anarchist self who angrily refuses any structure imposed on my art. Even from other parts of me, the inner child who just wants her fucking mommy and daddy. The mother who is too young to know how to raise this child. The father who is used to being a symbol rather than a presence. All these pieces like a billion-sided prism, reflecting so many colors, my past life shining through as all the races and faces I have worn on this soul. And yet I know I can never wrap my humanness around the oppressions of others in this time and this place. Yet this soul can release centuries-old trauma with my intention and my breathing, breathing, breathing. And the devil on my right and south of my heart says we must fight against injustice, the would-be soldier in the war against the destruction of my world. The world as we know it wants to protect all of you, my beloveds, from harm. But too bad, beloved part of self, they are all my kin. The CEOs and the governors, the First Nations folks and the survivors of rape shine all their colors back to the reflections of the me's within, the snakes of our DNA twisting and coiling us into one live, born animal, vertebrate, mammal, divine. Born from a woman's womb, and we are all dying every day in more and more horrific ways, born from human brains, toxic waters and toxic hearts. They're all the same. So let's play a different game. I call in a new age of cultural incorporation, prayerful, loving creation of a new energetic structure. My cells need integration in order to move forward. I pray, please, God, Goddess, all that is love. Give me the strength to find the singularity of purpose in this time of the great turning. I am breathing, breathing, breathing in through my heart. These judgments that I hurl at myself onto the images of others. The knives in my back are my own, thrown at each piece that disagrees with her brother, the one inside of me, the one that says, fuck your truth. As he brushes his hair through his mohawk and puts his thumbs in his studded belt, singing anti-flag lyrics at us. You know, it's easy to be in punk rock retirement for a while, but now, Rebel, will you get on board? Breathing, breathing, breathing. The angels and angles and selves of me, please come for this walk. You are everything to me, and I breathe.
Thank you, Miss. I like the word grammarian. Putting that one in my back pocket. I'm gonna read it later. Grammarian. I've never written a personal ad, but I always try to keep words in the back pocket in case I ever need to. Gorgeous grammarian seeks gregarious guy. I actually kind of suck at grammar, that's why I write poetry. Okay, those of you with the scorecards, on the count of 3, happen at me, please. 1, 2, 3. Gracias. I've got a 7.1, a 7.5, another 7.5, a 7.7, there's cows, and a 7.8 for Miss. Let her hear it. Thank you. 20.55 after 2.1 time penalty. All right, thank you. All righty, on deck is Cyndia. Am I saying your name right? Where's Cyndia? Cyndia? Fantastic. Okay, on deck is Cyndia. Please welcome Phillip to the stage. Woo!
The cotton-threaded manacles of legal tender will leave ligature marks on our children's wrists. My life has become leave a message, take a number, not at this address. Thank you for calling customer care. Your wait is indefinite. I wait and pay and see that as the clock ticks, we all die a little more each day, paying with the contents of our wallets and hearts. I paid with wasted hours at war while my home fell apart. Expending hasty breath on wasteful lines. Some of us do just that most of the time. We were born with mortal lives destined for extinction. Where's the fun in knowing the imminent cannot be undone? So I spend my time like cash. It used to be all piled in front of me, and now it's with history in the past, burning dollars, bridges, minutes, energy until I am fatigued. Just another enervated cog in the big money machine. I work because I carry a debt like America in my empty pockets, driven by the manipulated forces in my heart and mind. A true red-blooded American defined. I work because they see I need a home, car, internet, phone, quality of life, standard of living, a signature loan, a healthy lifestyle, good credit score, debt, pet clone, brand names, designer labels, and to live my life for me, smartphone, couture this, chic that, the hottest, newest, coolest, next big thing. I work like America because I'm trapped. And I'm trapped because I was born into this, birthed blindly into society's bindings, infant inoculation via cathode radiation, man. It began as soon as I could see the television screen. For you see, I was born enslaved by a radio wave. The flickering imagery and frequencies turning locks inside. These invisible chains may remain unseen, but their weight is still felt by me. It's ingrained in that misleading sense of choice, coerced by the subtle guidance and crafted tone of an actor's voice. The sour stench of money smelled on his breath through your brand new 3D LED soul liquefying screen. We work and spend and fuel America with the money we bleed into this ocean of debt, head down, wading deeper into red while advertising praise on the malleability of the mind. Man's metal has been proven to be cast in clay mold. We can feel the urging of agenda, shaping of influence, tempering of propaganda from womb to tomb, accompanied by their campaign as neon lights flash advertisement to coax, lead, hoax, bleed, and even change you and me. So open my heart, open my wallet, sell expensive lies to me. Tell me what I am and what I'm good for. Tell me what I should be. Help me find the right papers to sign to keep these mothercuffing chains in the family. It's always been there, selling me on slavery. But for some reason, I still love you, TV. I find myself a slave to my longing for an advertised life. My chains are custom and law, municipality and nature, need and want, even choice. Victimized at conception by the status of class, the blurred lines of a rigid caste. Yeah, I know slave. Slave is in my blood. I was born the son of a slave to poverty and addiction. I'm a slave and a product, and I carry the untested byproducts of bad parenting, pop culture, and public education like the world's weight in tow. I owe, and work and pay, and that makes me a slave. You owe and work and pay and tell me don't say slave? Tell me don't say slave. You say my context is wrong, but more importantly, I'm not a brother. Syntactic irrelevance to cloud the message. The synaptic connection is held in suspense. Meanwhile, the world drowns in knowledge and turns away as these chains are placed on our children's wrists, seeking our salvation in high-definition ignorance. Thank you.
Thank you, Phillip. I hope you guys all drank a lot of green tea so that you could keep up. I was like, thank God I got that latte, that mother cupping latte. Nice. Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. Scores for Phillip on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Up and at me, please. All right. I've got a 7.6. An 8.2. A 9.0. A 9.0. And a 9.0. 26 on the nose after a very small time penalty. Okay, on deck is Robert. Please welcome Cyndia to the stage. Woo!
Sometimes it's hard not to see life in black and gray since the day you went away. I remember it like my heartbreak. My tears fell like a sorrow-filled lake. The only thing left was my feelings written down into words, my heart feeling trapped like the sweet little songbirds. In this world, your promises are meant to be broken. My tears sometimes sound very choking. Tossing and turning, I try at night to sleep. My depression seems unbearably hard to keep. I have to say I miss you, though I don't know if you miss me too. I wish you knew how to stay around. Every time you reject me, I try not to fall to the ground. Will you choose not to let me down, or will you watch me while I drown?
Thank you, Cyndia. So glad to have you with us for the first time. Fantastic. Yes. Neat. This is an all ages event for a reason. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Scores for Cyndia on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Up and at me, please. All righty. I've got a 5.9. A 6.2. A 6.4. A 6.5. And a 7.2. What did you think of the poetry? Woo! 19.1. All right. On deck is Serenity. Please welcome Robert to the stage. Woo!
On the strange duality of a duel between heart and mind. What would you say if you had but one short time to tell your greatest love how you feel? What strategies appeal? How would you deal? Would you lament the lameness of language, seek a strange sequence of superlatives. Still, there are some scenes it seems that we could screen. I say, I love my love and wish my love loved me, which is, to put it simply, a statement of my position. It's not that complex, though it bears repetition. But how I feel? I'm not sure I can stand how I feel. It seems too intense. It seems too surreal. It came at random. I could be damned or rammed. Again, it was unplanned. I don't understand how I can suddenly shift a whole world to this understanding. It was a duel, you see, or should I say duel? My heart, you see, is more than a tool. It's more than a pump. The drums keep thumping, the thoughts keep pouring, heartstrings plucked and heart song roaring. The heart said something that my mind would not believe, and my mind took up the glove and said, "Prove it, fool heart. You've never done this before." And you know how I deplore this kind of drama. I can't stand the pain of misunderstanding, the ego grandstanding. You know the planned thing. I do the thinking. Then I hear bells ring. I feel my thoughts, ching, clamoring chimes of shimmering question, ushering mysteries beyond conception, purging mistrust, wrestling deception. It plucked my heartstrings. It made my heart sing. I feel my heart sing. I want to do everything. The siren's song had fooled my eyes, and suddenly, to my surprise, the mind had lost, the heart had won, and I, poor thing, knew I was done.
Thank you, Robert. All right. Okay. Colorful shirts. A plus. All right, scores for Robert. Those of you judging souls tonight, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, numerical values at me, please. I've got a 6.5, a 7.7, an 8.0, an 8.0, and an 8.7 for Robert. Let him hear it. 23.7. All right, we lost one of our poets, so we have 12 folks in this round, so we're moving right into the middle. On deck is Rachel. Please welcome Serenity to the stage. Woo!
We all have something to prove here, like lambs to the slaughter. Through hell and high water, we are parables of stories unfolding like origami. We are creased and tucked to make satisfying little shapes out of any color we choose to create. We choose to push the limits of what it means to perpetrate. We're laying down and looking up and speaking to a sky whose expansive dark hues and facets like late make-believe land make us believe, and holding our minds like small children are held, because there is nothing else worth believing in than the hand that held the brush, that put each stroke onto this canvas, and we, as little dwellers, even take the sky for granted. We're still bleaching out our faces to support these damn disgraces that kept us running in the first place, made us believe we were mistakes. Lord, come fill me up, because I'm drowning in it, knee-deep and wading soundly in it, numbed and dumbed in the sick social experiments that we perform on a daily basis to stereotype faces and races. I am not my mistakes, and my mistakes are not me. And who are you to say that I'm no better than the worst decision I've ever made? In a bad way, on a bad day, to be judged and damned like Adam for the fall and demise of my small human life. See, there was no point in time that I couldn't draw the line, because the God I know doesn't change circumstance. He's in the business of changing you, even through your pride and self-respect has so clearly clouded your view. We bounce back from oppression with aggression. We were all slaves at one point in time, falling under the whip of our own self-righteousness. And even when I'm cornered, I'm looking around for any excuse that hurts less than this, because the truth is a double-sided blade that can surely cut your chains if you let it. But I know it pains, and I know it hurts. It hurts so to cut so deep that the only thing to drink is your own desperate tears, tears of desperation. And we know suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope. But when we know to suffer for the divine is what it truly means to live, and I have settled for everything this world had to give, because it's so shiny and promising, and we've been told by the world how to succeed by its standards, but you cannot look into the eyes of people and tell me they are not obligated to systems plagued by modern-day technological afflictions that have us running down the grass of sandy beaches towards our own selfish demise. So hold fast to the dreams of tomorrow, because that's what can't be stolen or borrowed. Hold fast to the thoughts of the past, because the die has been rolled and cast for your sorrows. But inside of that notion, how come we always try to decide our own fate? Go to Peru by 22, have 2 kids by 28, worship this God or the next, whether it be money or some sacred text. If you haven't noticed, some of us seem to have it all figured out. So what's that little voice out there talking about? Can hardly hear it over the steady buzzing produced by our own thoughts, running around like we're the constant exception, but we're not. And I've been on this earth for only 23 years, and it's not much. But I came here broken, spiritually starving, hands tied and feet broken, for years filling myself with what I thought was real love. But pain is not all we know of love, and tears are not its yielded fruit. And now I'm not so broken, because I've woken to see the divine in the faces of humanity. And to realize what my God has done for me, and my spirit's not starving, but it's hungry like it should be. I would have turned to the streets at one time to find peace of mind of one kind at one time, done line after line and got mind at one time. But a heartbeat is a precious thing to waste unless you're already dead. In that case, what better excuse to put that heart to good use? 23 years of turbulence, 23 years of mistaken identity, but knowing wholeheartedly my deliverance would come when the world crumbles from under my feet and ashes make pathways of lies and deceit. He tells me I'm beautiful, and I'd like to go home to the place where that love is undenied, but for now, I need to remain here, casting off my pride. Thank you.
Serenity, thank you very much. We were judging on lion earrings. Fucking rad. All right. Let her roar, judges. 1, 2, 3, up and at me, please. I've got 7.2. Another 7.2. You guys are on a wavelength tonight, you know? I've got a 7.8, an 8.2, and an 8.4. Let her hear it. Thank you, Serenity. $19.7 after a 3.5 time penalty. Thank you, sir. I was waiting for that. You can be counted on. All right. On deck is Isabel. Please welcome Rachel to the stage. Woo!
I want to tie you elbows to ankles, count the arches in your angles. Your concavity vexes me, but your convexity makes me cave, makes me whistle, pant, and rave. I see myself mirrored in your face-wise smiles. So get comfortable, baby. We'll be staying a while. See, we connected immediately. My eyes adored you greedily, and I saw you staring back. Friendly giggles urged conquistadorial contact. You think you're too pure for my literary depravity? Pfft, I'm like gravity. Like a black hole, everything I want will eventually come to me. You'll slide inside like I own you bodily. Even your light and shine, can't keep those to yourself. They're already mine. Baby, I'ma play you like a card. Trust me, you'll be breathing hard. Don't try and beat me, I've got both the winning hands. Like fascists, they'll seize you if they see you making plans. Don't bet against me, and if you discard me, you're a chump. You'll never draw a better card. I am the trump. And I've got your axis on a heavy tilt, but you can take it. You are so well built. Your every piece is crafted by a master. Losing you wouldn't be an art, it would be a disaster. But you're a breath of fresh air for these smoked out, poemed out lungs, an electric breeze sizzling me sideways to Portland Slam Sundays with nonchalant ease. You bounce me off balance with each hot breath, sliding and gliding from my ears to my neck. You threw me off time like a wobble in my orbit. And I adored it. You didn't just speed into my heart, you floored it. So baby, I'm gonna make you like a decision. I'm strong, I stand for no flack or derision, but step into my arms and all will be forgiven. You'll love me like I'm home sweet home. Pick any medium, I don't deal in tedium, seductive via fiction, fact, or poem. You think you wrote the book on love? I wrote a 3-volume tome. But I still want to tie you elbows to ankles, count the arches in your angles, all the aqueducts that make you flow, but I've got the water that'll make your plants grow. So what's it gonna be? Don't say anything. I already know.
I feel that now might be an auspicious moment to mention that we end every season with a sex slam, second weekend in June. Start writing now, like later, after you go home and think about that poem. Okay. Neat. Okay, scores for Miss Rachel. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, up and at me, please, judges. I've got an 8.0. I've got an 8.6. And another 8.6, because y'all are psychic and weird tonight. And a 9.2. And a 9.5 for Rachel, let her hear it. 26.4. All right, we are cruising tonight, people. On deck is Lindsey. Please welcome Isabel to the stage. Woo!
Okay, I guess it's sexual poem night. So I'm gonna do a sexual poem. It's called Manifesto. Lately, I've been thinking that I am the hottest person. I know this because boys run away from me, scared by my obvious bodily flawlessness, hot and provocative as a laundromat on fire with Marvin Gaye singeing through the speakers. Let's get it on. I am the exhausted, wet, staggering yes of all of your fantasies. Don't mean to be so smothering in my sultriness, but sometimes it just gets out of hand, so be warned. If you fear falling in lust, then avoid me after school in my bedroom where I hip thrust through pretended Weezer music videos. I don't care what they say about us anyway. That happens on Mondays and Tuesdays through Sundays. And some days I go running, but by myself because to see it might be dangerously sexy. Sweat and heaving at a 12-minute mile pace. I find it perplexing that no one has yet mentioned my hyper-athletic and model of perfection figure in their poems, but I guess there's still more people in this round, so like there's time. I know, I've been oozing all this innocence, but I'm only playing snow. I'm the reason for your winter writing. When I melt, I'll be the reason for your woe. Oh, so hot. I am hot. I am free. I can draw reasonably. And to doubt it is to accuse all my friends of euphemism, which is euphemism for lies. Like when they told you that he only said that he had seasonal depression, it's not you, it's me, it's not you, it's me, then turned 2 days later to hand his t-shirts and his free verse to a girl with angelic features is because you are too intimidating. And the only reason he let you sleep in his neck while you read, then woke, face regret, and never spoke to you again. The only reason he could love you, but only from 302 miles away, the only reason is because you are so intimidating, Isabel. They say this, not knowing that a stage can be so lonely, and that poems are what I need and what I eat to be alive, not something I do to impress you. Honestly, slams are the only time I'm ever judged as a 10. And I tell myself so often how beautiful I'd be if I were different. Hip-handed midriff Facebook profile pictures will not leave me alone. They glow with so much pride, and I think, finally, I guess we're old enough for make-believe. Acting as if muscles and bone structure could ever grow old with us. Dance with us. Drive with windows down with us. Listen to the distant trains. Kiss to old jazz ballads. Hold us as we gaze out on canyons with the grandest of names, forever protecting us from falling, as if lust and love could ever be wed. What theater? I recently heard someone say, don't you hate when an ugly girl acts like she's hot? And I thought, no, I hate when anybody acts like they're hot. I have wished so much to be, but I am wrestling with this thing, because if I admit my own beauty, I'm conceited, and if not, then I'm fishing for compliments. I want to tell every woman who wakes up early to dress and paint herself before her husband wakes that she is neither. It's just that some people only see with their eyes. So I'm grateful to have had Weezer to be that voice screaming, I don't care what they say about us anyway. I don't care about that. And if you don't like it, you can shove it. But you don't like it, you love it. I'm hot. And you thought that no woman could have all that power to resist someone else's idea of perfection. I will never be sorry that my soul cannot give you an erection. I am a sex goddess. I know this myself, not willing to be anybody else. Euphemism after euphemism and lie after lie, the sexiest of sexiness still comes from inside, and I am not a dime piece. I am priceless. I'm hot, and I know this. I know this. Thank you.
God. Next month, I'm going to come wearing a big shirt that says, I heart neutrality. In beige. With khaki slacks. I might wear pearls. Okay, let's get some scores. All right. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, up and at me, please.
Got it!
All right. I've got a 9.0. And a 9.0. There has to be at least 2 of you now. I've got a 9.5. A 9.8. A a 9.9 for Isabel. Let her hear it. 22.6 after a 5.7 time penalty. Good. All right. Oh, so nice. The women are bringing it tonight. I told you there were going to be titties. All right. On deck is Brayden. Please welcome Lindsey to the stage. Woo!
Forgive me, dear you, who could be, would be the one and only, the very thing that may save me from being so lonely. But this I know to be impossible. You filled the empty space, and though I'd love to see your face, I am terrified. Can't you feel it? Look, I tried. I considered a new way to live, but of my love, there is none left to give, for this situation is too much. 25 and out of touch, and I realize no one can ever really know. Please let me let you go. This will not work out, because that's not what I'm about. Already, you are mistaken. Yes, you helped me awaken, and now you'll have to go back to where you came from. Somehow, there is a way. Because I won't have you here. So tomorrow, better today. I wish that there was an easier way, but you do it to yourself. Okay, that's not true. I am the one. Go ahead. Point the finger that you'll never have a reason for using if you're trying to make me feel remorseful. You sure do have a way with words. Syllables and screams coming at me like herds, I never had a chance. And if I could go back and avoid the glance that got us here, aching never had such vitality, and I never wanted this to be my reality. Never say never. Just say, if ever, if only I could learn. I will warn you, but not for the reasons you might think. Don't mind if I make a toast to the life you wanted with another drink of remorse mixed with disappointment and shame. I had never known myself by any other name but the one I justify day after day. You can call me Still Life. Nice to meet you. Goodbye. It sounded like I wanted to be his wife, and after all, I was never fit to be a mother, and especially not when I love another. Please understand me, this is all wrong. So I'm just going to trust that this was just a rehearsal I was put through to make me strong. Thank you. It worked. Time to go. You know this world isn't what it could be, and I'm not going to drag you along through it with me. If worse comes to worst, I will leave. By any means necessary, please believe that I need time. I'm just not that steady. Give me a chance to get ready. I know you think you want this, but there's a better life you will allow yourself to miss because you were happy with less. But I won't allow you to take part in such a mess. You will come into my life and get lost in the rubble. Just leave now. I'm not worth that kind of trouble.
Thank you, Lindsey. Good to have you with us this year.
Real stuff.
I like how we all talk together. It's one of the most intimate gatherings between strangers that I've ever had the pleasure of hosting for 5 years.
All right, those of you with scores for Lindsey. 1, 2, 3,
Up and at me, please. I've got a 7.1, a 6.6, a 7.3,
a 7.8, and an 8.2. Let her hear it. Thank you, Lindsey. 22.2. That's 3 2s.
Make something significant out of it in your mind.
We've just got a
few poets left in this first round. On deck is Rob. Please welcome Brayden back to the Eugene Poetry Slam. Woohoo!
Three years ago in the sunny city of San Jose, California, I was sent to the principal's office after my teacher hung up the phone with a grim look on her face. And me being the A-plus student I wasn't too concerned about what he had to say. The principal looked up at me and began to recite a story. A girl in my class, a girl who I loved and lost my virginity to, Hannah Birock, had taken her own life last weekend. I didn't know what to say. So after he wrapped up his story, I looked up at him and I said, no. I just wanted to taste her, get under her skin, watch bumps on her back rise like dough in an oven. We were supposed to move in polyrhythmic grandeur. Our love was galactic, and our love, I had her. It was crushing. We used to sit and talk on benches long after school had ended, and she would tell me the things her parents would beat into her. I am the Castro of fidelity. I am the most interruptive of honoraries, seeping through the pores of a conversation, worming, clawing at the clutches in the words. I am the rattling chains of the change in my pocket, which lines my every inch, every bone, and I have grown 10 years in growing up for several months alone. I spoke of love without inhale. I spun my words so sweet and fine, but those empty words could fill a whale. I speak of light. I do not shine. The ocean of my good intent is pure, but teems with salt and brine. The sand and water, they never met. I speak of light. I do not shine. My father told me he loved me once. He used to tell me all the time, but took his love when he left my home. I speak of light. I do not shine. Dirtiest waters have run pure. Pure can be found from all the grime, but until then my words are hollow, dear. I speak of light. I do not shine. She was so beautiful, but so imbalanced by her grandiloquent sadness. But her parents had hurt her, so I traced all the lines of the scars on her arms, which grew upwards like vines. But to me, everything she would confine. So I made a pact to do good and be kind. 2 weeks before she died, I took her to my favorite panorama view of the sunny city of San Jose, California. There were a couple of birds burrowing in herds towards the sun dripping quietly, but we flagged the hill in its haste, while my arms on her waist locked her indefinitely. The paraboling light in the sea of the night dipped and whipped in gaudy streams, but the tone of her look could have filled trilogy books when I caught her eyes by their seams. Hannah, you were shining like the deepest chasm of some permanent home, savoring the purest sweetness of relishing your discovery alone, and I never knew it. These past few years I have spent behind tears, all of which I will never show. I will sit here quietly loving you, but you will never know. Thank you.
All right. Scores for Brayden on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, up and at me, please. All right. I've got a 7.7, a 7.9, 8.5, 8.7, and a 9.0. Let them hear it. And we've got just 3 poets left before a potty break. Neat. On deck is Brigginator. Please welcome Rob Bowman back to the Eugene Poetry Slam. Woo!
This is inspired by the pieces that Scott shared last month. As a pragmatic student of evolutionary psychology, I know that love is, first and foremost, a cynical and calculated mechanism for getting a couple of lumbering primates to hook up and produce offspring. For we are nothing if not machines for perpetuating our own DNA. Having said that, love is the single biggest source of our greatest music, art, and literature, to say nothing of joy and wonder. Love is the warm, silent, blissful energy circulating in our limbs, lying limp in the heat after the passion. Love is the millions of sperm cells shooting out of my testicles and careening at breakneck speed up my urethra, each one singularly dedicated and determined to deliver my genetic material to whatever ghost of fertility may still linger inside my postmenopausal beloved. Love is the tingling shot of energy going up my spine when thoughts of her enter the subtlest realms of my consciousness. Love is when she says she likes the smell of her pussy on my beard, and I explain to her just how much I enjoy applying the smell of her pussy to my beard. Love is the silent, unspoken knowing, vast volumes communicated at a glance of her wise and aged eyes. The pain and vulnerability worn on her shirt sleeve are a doorstop permanently wedged into my heart, lubricating the machinery of compassion and devotion. Love is being granted the supreme privilege of sliding into her sweetness, her orchid, her lotus, her lily. The center of my world from which life comes and into which I try to come as often as I can. Love is the single most defining characteristic of the vast ocean of silence, clarity, and peace into which I'm occasionally able to dip a toe during my most profound meditations. Love is the sloppy, blurry line separating countless reflections of my beloved and my fleetingly inadequate and infrequent glimpses into the divine.
I think that was the first time someone said pussy on stage today. Oh, sorry, Lindsey. Sorry. Okay, that was the first time someone said pussy in my beard. All right. Drip, drip, drip. Okay. The insight is profound. Scores for Rob. 1, 2, 3, up and at me, please. That's what she said. I've got a 7.9, an 8.1, an 8.2, an 8.4, and an 8.7 for Rob. Let him hit. 24.7. All right, 2 poets left in the first round. On deck is Jessie T. Please welcome Brigginator X to the stage.
Here I am again. I'll be speaking my mind like a crazy man, but it's got to be done. If nothing else than just for fun, but I know it's more than that. A lyrical connection to explore the facts, a mind expansion and a trip to the sun. To find out later you're the chosen one. Well, how could this happen to me? You've always dreamed to be MC, a manifestation of your dreams. When no one can hear the screams of your heart as it pounds in your chest. As you match up against the best MCs ever assembled in the Hall of Records, you know my voice trembled. Represent, respect, revere, the greatest MCs you could ever hear. And then there was only me, representing Ben Boys in South Eugene. And at some point something clicked. The whole Northwest was digging my shit, and the story has just begun. If nothing else, then just for fun. But I know it's more than that. Yeah, I know it's more than that. So come on, everybody, it's time to get off. Grab the sucker by the roof and tear the lid off. You know when I get on, I like to rip and tear at the fabric of society. Beware. I am the king of truth and over-analyzer. I only want what's real. I ain't no compromiser. So come on, everybody, it's time to get lit. Brigginator X and free agent tip. Cause I'm much better than the same old shit. And if you try me once, you'll be an addict. That's why I tell you to buy local and eat organic and build an infrastructure to support the planet. You gotta be vocal and run the gamut. Take the basket by the balls to the hoop and slam it. And please try and focus on the hocus pocus. They wish we'd be quiet, so they try to choke us. But I stand proudly and I speak loudly. And even when I'm surrounded, they just can't crowd me. Cause I'm the shit, man. I'm like a hit man. I leave sucker MCs in quicksand or frozen in ice, cause my rhymes are nice. And if you wanna battle me, then roll the dice, cause I'm the X-Man. I got the flex plan, the master freestyle on the next jam. So when you MCs wonder how your cap got peeled, that's when I'll rip another jam and seal the deal.
Thank you, Brigginator. Nice. All right. Scores for the Brigginator. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Up and at me, please. I've got a 6.1, a 7.0, a 7.0, an 8.9, and a 9.0. Let them hear it. $22.9. All right, last poet of the first round. Please welcome Jessie T to the stage.
An optimist might say that Jesus and I, in our whirlwind time together, have come to discover, at best, our mutual humanity. I personally don't disagree, primarily because this semblance of peace was not started by me, but rather by an Arabian man 2,000 years dead who doesn't know how to take a goddamn hint. That said, the first time Jesus and I went driving was about 4 years after we had stopped talking, when I had decided that my life would not be dictated by a book older than the concept of free speech, written by men so stoned they had forgotten their own main characters, main conflicts, and interests, you know, like more acceptance, less incest. And even though I refused to pick up the phone when he called, Jesus still showed up at my door one almost morning in an otherwise uneventful late December and just asked, "Do you remember a time when you didn't hate me? Just come with me," he said. Just come with me. He had left his car running as if he had known something about me, and I, whether out of guilt or nostalgia, I'm still not sure which, but still called shotgun. He tried to open the door for me, but thought better of it and slammed himself into the driver's seat and then looked at me like he expected some kind of apology or an explanation for my adamant silence. After all, before I dug my hands into my Jewish roots, pulling up heritage and bloodlines and finding no room left in my closet for the promise ring I gave him. But even as I sat there, remembering our times together, our long talks and our hopes and our dreams, he pulls out, of all things, a perfectly hand-blown piece. And he hands it to me. And with a hesitant smirk, we proceed to hotbox the shit out of that motherfucker. So there we are! Toasted and roasted in our steam sauna car, too blissful and bubbling and way too far gone to remember that this is abnormal, even for us, and that we, of all people, should not be pushing to be together, but we have and still are, and for a minute or possibly several hours, we're fine, happy and quiet, and yeah, okay, high as a runaway kite, but for once, he's doing all right by me.
For once, he doesn't have to fight with me. And despite all the bile and smiting, I finally see him the way I know he's always seen me, one extraordinary Jew. Caught in a gridlock trying to choose between faith in God and trust in booze, and maybe we've been in this car before. Stalling for time, staring at a door we refuse to open because while the heating system may very well be possessed, bought for $3 at a garage sale just north of hell, at least it's warm in here. And maybe together we have found something very much resembling peace in this busted up clunker we've seen fit to dump in this laissez-faire heap. Staring at doors we refuse to open and finally realizing that we maybe can get along if we try with help of each other, and yes, okay, just the slightest bit of weed. Sitting in a car we've decided to be the center of the universe, circling the still smoldering ember of his pipe on this remarkably silent night in December.
I bet Jesus has some good shit.
I think it's Jesus.
That one sit, shall we?
No, we were all thinking it. You're like, holy shit. Yeah, okay, too far. It's gonna get so cheesy so quick, and that's not even okay. Here we go. Beautiful. Thank you for that. I'm gonna think about that for a long time. What would Jesus smoke? It's gonna be a bumper sticker by tomorrow. Check the internet. Here we go. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Let them rise. 7.8. 8.1. And an 8.2. A 9.1. And a 9.3. All right, better hear it. Woo! 24.9. All righty, listen, people. Me and Prajna are going to confer and right, don't even move. We're going to go into the second round. We're going to take a short break, but before we do, I am going to bring up Deshaun. Deshaun is responsible for booking every fabulous feature that we have had here tonight and so far this season. So obviously he kicks ass, and he's been hosting the workshop before the slam. He's going to come up here and say a few words to you about all of that. Please thank him with your applause. Deshaun.
Hi, as far as what Jesus would smoke, heroin. He's a crazy motherfucker. Anyway, hi guys, I'm Deshaun. Nice to meet you. What did we think of our features, Meg Waldron and Casey Rocheteau? Let's fucking make some noise. That shit was fucking great. Please check out their merch. They still have books, guys. Make sure you talk to them before you guys leave. A couple other quick things. Your features for next month are Chris Legia and Will Stanford from Sparrow Ghost Publishing, Portland, Oregon. You guys get a dual feature. You'll have 3 because you'll have a spotlight also, but they're going to do some fancy shit. They'll be here next month. Also, free writing workshop. That was really fun today. Thank you all of you that attended. I got a lot out of it. 5 o'clock, it's free with attendance to the slam as long as you pay for the slam. And I had a lot of fun with it. We'll be doing some editing stuff and some writing stuff. Always check the Eugene Facebook page. And then also, last thing I was going to say, besides all the merch stuff, the feature tomorrow at the Portland Poetry Slam, which is our semifinal. We have a competing season also, but yeah, we do these big semifinals that are like just exactly like they sound. They're like a semifinal that lead up to a final. Anyway, that show's tomorrow, and our feature is Casey Rocheteau. So if you fucking liked what you saw from her tonight, buy her book, come to that show tomorrow. I got people from Portland here tonight. We love your show. Come see Casey. Guys, thanks for being at a poetry reading on a Saturday night. Support your venue. Buy stuff from Tsunami. You guys have one of the best venues. I'm serious. We almost lost our venue in Portland, guys. You guys have a great spot. Support Tsunami Books. You can single-handedly take down with a chokehold Amazon.com. Buy locally. Don't do drugs. Jesus doesn't. That was all a lie. Thanks, guys.
So we have sort of an awkward little moment in which our next set of people would include Brayden, and we're going to let that happen this time. But you used your tattoos. You can't do that. That's using a prop because you have that uniquely and no one else does.
Oh, poop. I'm sorry.
So we conferred. It's one of those, like, it's part of your body, not like a hand puppet. Yeah. So nobody else do that, okay? We won't let it happen again next time because now you've all been warned. So.
Thank you, Prajna. Prajna is the keeper of all the rules, and she does the best job ever.
It's not very comfortable. Thank you. Okay, so last shall be first order. We have Jessie T, Rob, then Brayden, then Rachel, then Phillip.
Yay!
And I call first dibs on the bathroom.